What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? Stephen Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. In today's topic, guys, let's talk about offensive line in this NFL draft. Okay, boy, there's been a lot of crazy things going on. There was a recent mock draft that had the Eagles at number 6 potentially taking Christian Dareus. This is what I will say: Christian Dareus, very much an athletic tackle. He's a guy that moves fairly well. This is a guy that is no stranger to zone blocking schemes. Like, I'm not saying the fit doesn't make sense, but I will tell you right now, right from the jump of this video, that is higher than I had him rated. That's not. I did not see this kid almost in the top 5. I'll tell you that. But the one thing I can tell you is offensive linemen, especially offensive tackles, let's be particular, guys that could potentially play left tackle, they climb in the draft, guys. They do. I'm hoping we don't do something like that. I mean, I'm not opposed to taking Christian Dareus, but I would hope that would be a move backwards to take a guy like that, not staying put, and that's what you get at 6. Like, yeah, I don't think I'd be particularly pleased about that pick, but in the comment section below, let me know what you think about Christian Dareus being picked at 6. Like the player, don't like the value of where the pick would occur, is basically what I'm alluding to here, guys. But on that note, I'm going to make a video about what it would cost us to trade both up and back. That all that stuff's coming, guys. But I will say, like, everyone keeps talking about the quarterback position and the Eagles, hey, the Eagles could stay put at 6 and take a quarterback. They could trade forward and get a quarterback. I'd like to present another option they could do. They could trade forward for Penny Sewell. They could try to talk the Falcons into jumping from 4 to 6, so that way they can jump the Bengals and go get Penny Sewell if he slides past the top 3 picks. I think that's a possibility. And I'll kind of discuss that in another video, guys. But, everyone keeps saying going forward to go get a guy. I'm just saying, man, there's multiple avenues if you're going to jump forward to go get somebody. But on the topic of offensive tackles, guys, let me just break down the early scouting. And please note, guys, this stuff can change. Pro days haven't been done yet. Like, people start falling in love with certain guys. They start climbing up the board. It's already kind of happened to a degree, guys. Like, Dylan Redunz, the kid from North Dakota State, he's now being mentioned as a first-round pick. So, I mean, this is it's already kind of happening, right? But on the topic of offensive tackles, this is a very deep depth for offensive linemen to an extent. Like, I don't think you have to over-pursue anybody because I think you can get quality in the first 3 rounds. Guys that you can absolutely develop either at tackle, guard, or center if you just play your cards right. The clear-cut favorite in this draft is Penny Sewell. There's no doubt about it. He's a very good football player. To me, I would have Rashawn Slater. Slater is my number 2. There are some people out there that have Rashawn Slater, to be honest with you, over Penny Sewell. I don't go quite that far, but I don't think the distance between Sewell and Slater is as great as people think. Christian Dareus would be my 3rd tackle, guys, in this draft, followed by Vera Tucker, the kid out at USC. I think I said his name right, guys. He would be probably my 4th tackle in this draft. And then it kind of gets crazy, right? I would probably say my 5th tackle in the draft, I would probably go out of the way of what people have currently. I would probably either go with Alex Leatherwood or I would go with Dylan Redunz. That would probably be my 5th and 6th, and you could kind of change the order for me there, and I wouldn't care either way. Then you got Jalen Mayfield and Samuel Cosmi. I don't know how you say his name, guys. A kid from Texas, I think. He's a really tall kid. He's like 6'7", but he's a little underweight. He's under 310. That'd probably be the issue with him, is that people are going to worry about him being able to, with that tall, lanky frame, being able to anchor. That's going to be an issue. And there's a lot of tall, big kids in this draft, man, including Dylan Redunz, who's a really tall guy as well. Then you got, like, Landon Dickerson, who's a tackle. He's another monster out of Kentucky, but he's a little heavier. He's like 6'7", 320-ish. There's a little bit more to him. One of my other kind of, like, really, guys that you fall in love with some of these guys in terms of, like, some of the value they can bring you is if you look at, like, the guard position. You got Wyatt Davis. Wyatt Davis is going to go probably, I'd say, between picks 12 and 20, I would say, probably for Wyatt Davis. He's a very good football player. He's an offensive guard. Trey Smith is being talked about being pretty highly because he's a guard kind of tackle swing guy that I think he's going to go pretty high in this draft. I think you'll see him somewhere between 12 and 20 as well. It could be a potentially there, but I could see him slipping past 20 as well. Past that, my next guard on the board would probably be Deontay Brown. I like Deontay Brown a lot. He makes a ton of sense to me. Look, I mean, those are 3 really big guard names to kind of really keep your head out on, because if any of those 3 guys kind of slip down into the 2nd round, the Eagles could insert a guard. say Kelsey retires and then you end up moving, say, Amalu over to center, and say you're just not, Nate Herbig, you're not ready to commit to as a left guard. You can go get you a Deontay Brown. You can go get you a Trey Smith. You can go get you a Wyatt Davis. And plug and play, guys. Center. There are two centers I wanted to bring up in this video, guys. The two guys that I really like a lot. First guy that I'd probably bring off the board here is Josh Myers, the kid from Ohio State. Really good football player. I don't know where his value is, guys. I think he's going to be one of those weird guys that's a mid-second rounder, so it's going to be hard for the Eagles to maybe catch that window. But by chance, you're sitting there with that third-round pick, and Josh Myers is somehow still on the board. It's unlikely. But at the same time, he's coming off the board if I was the GM there. Like, I would go get him because, look, I almost feel like the Eagles would be more, it would be smarter for the Eagles to go defensive line early than offensive line. I think the offensive line has a lot of depth in this draft. I think the defensive line, like, once you get past a certain amount of guys, like the top 8 or so guys, like, there's a drastic drop-off. Like, there's not a lot of talent past that. Like, then you're really getting into the realm of, boy, we got to have to develop guys if we go draft them. And I'm not too sure that's where we are right now as Philadelphia Eagles fans. Like, we can't really, you know what I mean? We really do need to add depth along that line. And this could be a tricky draft for that, guys. I'm going to be quite honest. Past Josh Myers, I'm going to bring up another guy that has probably gone underneath the radar, and I think it should be brought up because I do think that this is an incredibly gifted center. I think this is a position that where you can keep Isaac Seumalo as your left guard if that's what you want to do. Then you got Dillard and you got Mailata fighting at left tackle. You got Driscoll there for your right guard, right tackle kind of swing guy out there with hopefully a healthy Lane Johnson, a healthy Brandon Brooks. Your offensive line starts looking a lot better. You just really need a center at this point. And I'm going to bring up the next guy that should get consideration because of his familiarity with a certain quarterback. Creed Humphrey, the left-handed center out of Oklahoma. He played with Jalen Hurts. That's the common denominator here, guys. I know some people will be concerned because he's left-handed. Most quarterbacks are right-handed, obviously. Some people might be a little concerned about the exchange there between center and quarterback. I don't know that crap really matters, guys. I don't know, man. I'd have to get somebody like Jalen Williams on here who's played the line to really explain if that even should ever be a issue of concern. I don't know, guys. I'm not really a lineman type, as you can tell. Who knows? But what I can say is that Jalen Hurts has already played with him before. But you take a guy like Creed Humphrey who's already played center and he's already exchanged balls with Jalen Hurts, and you plug him in there, he's probably a guy you could probably likely get in the early third round, I'm hoping. I mean, maybe he goes second round, just depends on the run on offensive linemen. But if you can get him in the third round, I do think Creed Humphrey would make a ton of sense because of his association with Jalen Hurts. They've already exchanged snaps together. You got Isaac Seumalo then, like I said, at your left guard. You got Mailata or Dillard at your left tackle. You got Brandon Brooks, hopefully back healthy, at your right guard. Then you got your right tackle out there at Lane Johnson. You got key reserves now, Nate Herbig and Jack Driscoll. You know what I mean? Like, the offensive line starts to actually look like a unit that can improve. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. It starts looking good. And then hopefully if you catch fire here with moving Carson Wentz, moving Zach Ertz, moving some of these players to add additional picks, it doesn't put you up against the wall for trying to also add talent to your secondary, your linebacking core, and that defensive line, because we do need to add stuff here, right? We're probably going to, I would assume we're going to take a receiver at some point in this draft as well, guys. I know people don't want to hear that. It could be early in the draft. It might be the second round. It could be later. I mean, I don't know. It could go in many ways with that one. But I would probably think that the staff is probably going to bring in a guy that they feel is a scheme fit for themselves here. And they're probably going to run with that individual. What I will say, though, guys, is like pay attention to this offensive line draft. It's a pretty good draft for offensive linemen. I told you guys. I know some of you guys think that the offensive line wasn't that big of a problem because PFF put up the win percentages. I have serious doubts about what PFF is throwing up there, guys. I'm telling you guys that offensive line, anyone who's ever played it, anyone who's ever played this game at a certain level, we can all look at that line and tell you it wasn't great. I'm not saying that these quarterbacks didn't hurt the line more than it should have been hurt. Both of these quarterbacks contributed to those sack totals. There's no doubt about that. They missed hot reads that were open because they didn't go through the progressions correctly. And they had, at least Hurts got us outside and threw away some of the balls. Wentz led us into a lot of sacks. And then, obviously we had certain games where I think Hurts got dropped 6 times at Arizona. So, I mean, yes, I get the points that some places like PFF are making, guys, but just looking at it and looking at the pressure rate and where the Eagles finished in pressure rate, which was really high, guys, I'm sorry, man. That's a line play issue. That's line play issues. 14, like, just put it this way, guys. 14 different line changes, and PFF is trying to report what they were trying to report about us in the win percentages. Man, we all saw the film. We saw dudes getting thrown like rag dolls across that line. Like, come on, man. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. My point to this whole thing is, guys, is that you want to improve something on the Eagles? Improve the line play. You improve the line play, you'll improve probably the quarterback play. You improve the quarterback play, maybe you got a shot at developing these wide receivers and getting better play out of the wide receivers. Slowly but surely, all of a sudden, your offense starts looking more adept. It starts looking like it can actually produce. It can actually do something. So that's my little spiel on this, guys. Let me know, who are the guys that you really would like as offensive tackles, guards, or centers in this draft? Do you guys got anyone plugged in? How seriously do you guys think the Eagles are going to be in this? All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Don't forget, there's a few ways you can support this channel. The number one way is to like, comment, and subscribe if you're not subscribed, because it is greatly appreciated. Number two, guys, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Link in the description. Number three, you can just keep tuning in, guys, because I appreciate it. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out of here.